After all the years of the Weber Cup, we stand at 8 wins apiece. Who will edge ahead this weekend? Look at that score though. Europe 8, the USA 2, and it's so early in Weber Cup 17 already. Let's head over to the commentary box for our next match then. It's Cass Edwards and Wayne Boyce, and they are joined by a Weber Cup legend. It's Tim Mack in the commentary booth as well.
Certainly are. Thank you, Tony. Good afternoon, Tim. Glad to have you back in the commentary booth with us. And goodness me, your team have an awful lot to do, don't they, to get back into this?
I'll tell you what, it's been a blistering start from Europe. Glad to be back in the box here. Glad to be on site for this great event. It's the best 10-pin event in the world, in my opinion. And Wayne, as you said, no doubt about it. I mean, Europe has come out early and put their foot on the neck of the Americans. And, you know, when I was asked earlier from some people in the event, who was going to be the favorite? Who did you feel was going to, you know, take the cup this year? I felt like Europe obviously was the favorite, but I felt like some of the youth guys coming in, they don't have any fear. And, you know, you match that with some great veterans in Parker Bohn and Wes Malott. And I felt like if the Americans could get off to a good start, they could get confidence for the young guys. But the total opposite has happened. And the Europeans have just not let them breathe. It's very similar to last year's performance. They really have come out of the gates and just not let them breathe. And now the scary thing is, Wayne, is the fact that the Europeans have struck on both patterns. They've struck on the shorter pattern and they've struck on the longer pattern. And in this new world bowling scoring system, Cass, the striking is the most important.
Absolutely, yeah, and of course an open frame is an absolute killer, isn't it? When if your opponent strikes, you're 20 odd pins down straight away in one frame.
Certainly, certainly. I mean, Wayne, I've watched obviously every match, and you've obviously had the great eye here, the eagle eye up here in the booth, and I would seem to think that this match here for Europe is, I know it's early, but it's a must-win situation, I would think. Would you agree?
Certainly, at 8-2, if this becomes 9-2, it really is a mountain to climb for the USA team. It's interesting you were talking about the rookies. What about the way that Jesper Svensson has adapted to this? Sensational stuff.
Yeah, he's a little different egg. He beats to a different drum. Jesper is a quiet assassin, I call him. I mean, he's just an amazing talent, and he has the biggest strike ball, I think, today in our sport today. We see it on the PBA Tour. We see it on the World Bowling Tour, the European Tour, the biggest strike ball, and he's just adapted really, really well.
So Don Barrett to get the second doubles underway, and that's not the ideal start for the Europeans.
No, the 2 and the 10 that Martin Larsen's got to spare. Pretty unfortunate as it goes. All just hurried on a little bit. It's on the freshly dressed lane. It just makes the head pin, hits them thin. I can't carry the 2 and the 10. It's a makeable spare.
As you said, Cass, he certainly didn't leave an easy one for Martin out of the gate. This is makeable. I would say this is probably a 30 to 40% chance for the pros, and just misses it.
It's a really good effort from Larsen, but it is an open frame for the Europeans. And we were talking yesterday, Tim, Cass and myself, about that the USA have to walk through that door when it's left slightly ajar, and so far they just haven't taken advantage of those little openings.
Wayne, I couldn't agree with you more. There's been a couple of key shots, especially yesterday in a couple of the matches with Kyle, and also Marshall had a couple chances to really stay close and, like you said, walk through that door, and they just haven't been able to capitalize on that. Here's a chance early for the Americans to get out to a lead. Great shot from Kyle. A little bit of emotion from the Afro fish, as we call him so eloquently in the States.
And he's back in full colours this afternoon. He was talking about those black pants making life awkward for him.
Yeah, I think he's back in his comfort zone. He's in his element. You know, Kyle's a great character. He's a great young character in our sport, and he's got a bright future in our sport. And as you can see, he's a fiery guy, as you can see by the way he's just reacted to that strike.
No mistake from Barrett this time.
My opinion, guys, you're looking at England's greatest bowler of all time. Don Barrett for me is England's greatest bowler of all time.
I couldn't agree with you more, Tim, absolutely. Tell us quickly something about what you think about the world scoring system.
Well, the world scoring system, I think, you know, for the bowling purists, it's a little bit difficult for them to embrace. But I think for people that are just tuning into our sport, it's an opportunity for them to keep things a little bit more simple. And listen, it's more frame to frame as it is stringing strikes in the past. As you see, Parker get a quick double here for the USA. It's frame to frame that's very important. So the sparing game is obviously always important in bowling, but it's not as prevalent in the world scoring environment as it is in the traditional scoring environment. So really, striking is very important, and as we talked earlier, Jesper Svensson's striking machine, and so are the Europeans right now.
Yeah, we kind of thought it was an ideal situation for sort of like a world finals and TV coverage. Made it a bit easier for spectators to pick up on the scoring system.
Ooh, a little bit high on the head pin there. That was a little left off his hand, Wayne. He missed a little bit left of target on the fresh lane. He wants to change his angles right now. As you see the guys on the right side lane, they want to play a little bit straighter angles on the fresh so that their ball doesn't change direction too much down lane. And it was a good shot, leaving the 4-9 split, but it's not really a good break. As bowlers, we don't think that's a good break.
Well, it was a makeable spare, but unfortunately Dom couldn't quite make it. It was very close. Another open frame, unfortunately, for the European side.
2 open frames out of 3. And it's looking pretty good at the moment for Troup and Bohn the third. The American captain, incidentally, lost all his doubles matches last year.
Wayne, this is exactly what you talked about. An opportunity for Kyle to walk through that open door right now and get some momentum going here for the American team that they so desperately need. They are in desperately need of a win, and a strike here would be a great... Oh, that's a great shot. Wow. What a shot from Kyle there. Ring 10. But you can see all the bowlers on the right side. You see how their angles are much different than we saw in the last match. You know, the matches where their angles are much more up the lane. They're keeping the pocket in play, and you know, he leaves a ring 10, which Parker should have no problem picking up.
Yeah, they're keeping it a bit straighter outside because it's obviously a bit lighter oil out there on the outside boards. Somebody said that Carl is trooping the colour, and I just thought I'd throw that in.
Trooping the colour. You know, Kyle's a unique individual. You spend a couple minutes around him. He's a breath of fresh air, and he's just he's a great young kid, and he's got, like I said, he's got a huge future in our sport, and it's great to see him over this first time over the pond. You know, this first time to get to come there and have some fish and chips and spend some time in England.
Yeah, I saw him on Facebook, and he was saying I've got to get a passport to get over there.
Yeah, not just his first time at the Weber Cup.
Yeah. That's a great answer. Yeah, great answer from Martin Larsen.
Never been on the losing side at a Weber Cup, the Swede, Lucky Larsen.
I guess if I'm Team Europe, I'm going to make sure he's on my team every year based on that record, right?
Well, absolutely, yeah, and he's doing pretty well on the World Bowling Tour as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great team bowler. Listen, he's been on Team Sweden for so many years, and he really knows how. I actually have a chance to bowl with him in the Swedish League. He's just a great teammate and a lot of fun to be around. Guy that you want on your team.
Troup again rings the 10.
Looked like a carbon copy of the last shot.
Yeah,
Exact
pretty
same
much.
shot.
Just the angle that's going in. It's just shoots that 6 round the 10. Doesn't touch it at all.
Yeah, for me, if I was advising him down there, it looks like it's a little firm. I'd actually try to get him to get a little bit more forward with the ball, and you know, maybe dial his speed down a little bit so he can get the ball to go through the pins a little bit differently. Those shots are really good. I'd make a small move on the next shot here. But again, in the world scoring system right now, they're only down 10 pins. So here's the beauty of strikes mean so much in this scoring system. So this is a really big shot for England's greatest of all time, in my opinion, as I said, coming up here. The captain.
Don Barrett has played a captain's role so far, hasn't he? That first singles win against Wes Malott yesterday to get them up and running, and then saw off Carl Troup convincingly in the captain's pick yesterday.
Barrett looking for the double for Team Europe. And holds pocket brilliantly. 2 strikes in a row. Great looking shot.
Great shot there. You can cut the lead to 10 pins here if the USA don't strike now. So that's why that's such a striking now is so important. So let's see if Kyle makes a little bit of a change here. He's gotten 2 great shots in a row. Ring 10, ring 10. I think he has to make maybe a little bit of a move because all the other bowlers, you know, the right-handed bowlers, are playing the same zone. So this lane is constantly changing with every shot that goes down the lane in this beautiful center, this beautiful setup that we have here with the lights and the people. The oil is moving constantly with every shot. So he's got to make a little bit of a move here so the ball goes through the pins the right way.
And I think you said you've got to get that speed just right.
He didn't like it off his hand, but that speed was definitely a little bit softer. His hand got around that one a little bit more at the bottom, and it went through the pins for the desired result for a 20-pin lead, which is halfway at the halfway point. That's something that the USA hasn't had much in these matches, guys. Would you seem to think that the Americans really need to keep the strike, keep striking here?
Maintains that 20-pin advantage. Can Larsen respond again? Yes, he can. And Barrett and Larsen are working on 3 in a row between them. A Turkey and the Europeans finding their groove again here. And this is where the pressure before has come on the American shoulders. They need to keep going, Bohn the third and Troup here.
They may well need a little bit of help as well from Parker and Kyle. But at the moment they're clean. 2 open frames for the Europeans, and that's what's caused the damage so far. Look at those maximums. It's 20 pins difference.
Leaves 2 up.
A little bit left to target there on the longer pattern. You've got to remember, Parker's only shot a couple spares in the last couple frames, so he hasn't thrown a strike ball, and it leaves a tough. This is a really, really tough spare for the right-hander. Really tough spare.
That's right. Yeah, it's the 3-9, isn't it?
Especially on this oil pattern. The double wood, we call it the double wood. It's he's got to get the ball just to the right of the 3-pin and still be able to drive it to take back that 9-pin. So this is an interesting frame. This is definitely a momentum builder. I think if the Americans can make the spare.
Picture of concentration. Yeah, no mistake.
Yeah, great cover from Kyle there. Taps himself on the back. It just goes to show you how they know how difficult some of these conversions are and how important that shot was at this moment.
Well, they're able to see not see, but understand where the oil is moving. I mean, this is a freshly dressed lane. So they're playing on the fresh, and as you said, Parker's out on the left-hand side on his own.
It's a big chance for Dom here to cut into the lead. With a strike here, they're only going to be down 8 pins going into the next round, no matter what the USA do. So this is again, strikes are huge in this environment. Huge. It's a good shot.
That's a great shot. You called it, Tim, and it was never going to miss, was it?
No, they've found their way. I mean, when the players are playing a little straighter, once they get their hand in the right position, they can increase their pocket percentage. Obviously, they don't have to go high flush. They can get that mixer, that wall shot, and get the pins moving and keep them low across the deck. And as you can see, Martin and Dom have definitely found their groove.
And we're also playing on brand new pins. And the reaction's quite good. Normally you'll find pretty hard to knock some new wood over.
Cass, that's right. Usually when the brand new pins are very difficult to knock over, but Parker gets a light shaker, which was big. Perfect example of it there, Cass. The fact that Parker was able to get that light mixer. The new pins are usually take a little bit of breaking into to get them to move around a little bit, but in this great environment that we have here at the Weber Cup, it's
that was certainly a hit him thin, make him spin, wasn't it? That shot from Parker.
I would agree with that for sure.
And this doubles remains very much in the balance.
Yeah, getting down to the nitty gritty now. The last 3 frames.
That was left. That's not good.
He wasn't happy, was he?
No, that was left off his hand. And you got to remember, all 3 of the players are using very aggressive bowling balls. They're using really high performance, high aggressive bowling balls, and the oil is moving a lot. And there's no margin for error if they get left off their hand with this oil pattern that's out there. That ball's gonna continue to pick up. It's just gonna be too aggressive, and obviously went through the head pin. He's lucky only to leave 9.
Well, he saw straight off his hand that it was wrong. Lifted his head inside. Straightforward spare for Bohn Barrett, and that's only 19 pins.
Huge shot for Troup. I think if Kyle Troup strikes here, guys, you're going to see a lot of emotion on his side. I think this is a must strike to really get them a little bit of breathing room going into the 9th and 10th frame. And every match that's been contested, the Americans really haven't had any breathing room coming into the last couple of frames. So,
well, that door we've been talking about is very much ajar here. And Troup take all 10. Well, he can't.
That's a little firm there from Kyle. Again, he likes to throw it hard, guys. That's his MO. His MO is really being firm. And we've been working with him back in the States and trying to get him to dial it down and get to feel it off his hand. And he threw that was firm and right down the lane. As you can see, very fortunate not to leave the 2-4-10 split. So.
Absolutely, yeah. Just the 3 and a 6 is okay, but really got to the outside boards on that shot and didn't quite get back.
But in that frame, should Parker cover the spare, which shouldn't be a problem. Now the Europeans picked up a pin in that frame, so they're only 7 pins back with two shots to go.
Well, the European pair do manage to pinch this game. It'll be mightily frustrating one to lose, won't it, for the Americans?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would agree with you, Wayne. I think if the Americans don't win this game, it's getting mathematically very difficult for them to make a charge here, because every mistake that the Americans make, the Europeans seem to pounce right on it like a lion in an open field. It's amazing.
And this really must be a must-strike situation for Martin. And it really was.
Great shot from Martin. You'll see his angle is much better going up the lane. You know, he's obviously going to be disappointed with himself for the last shot, but you see his angle is much better. It's a little bit left to right, and obviously it goes, perfect. 10 pins back, straight back. That's what we're used to seeing from Martin Larsen.
Yeah, absolutely. Pressure here on Kyle as well in the foundation frame.
Needs a big shot here, Carl Troup. Well, there's a real threat that this could just slip through the fingers again of the American team.
That was a better shot. Better leverage at the line. Much better shot. Now we got a one ball. Could be one ball. It's really one shot right now. If the Europeans strike, they're at 247, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and then 9 spare for the Americans would be
243.
243. So it's
must strikes all
must
round.
strike,
Yeah.
must strike. Whoever
Be
strikes in
tight,
this frame is going to win the game.
And you see the 2 open frames in 1 and 3 for the Europeans. That's really what's cost them so far. Can they make amends right at the end?
I think the difference is as well is that Parker Bohn III's victory was the only convincing win that the Americans have had.
That's right. That's right. He's the only one that's been able to get in front. But you got to remember, the USA got out to a lead here after 5 frames. But the Europeans were able to find their way, get comfortable, and this is the shot of the match right here. Don Barrett to put the dagger down.
He's certainly the man that you'd want behind it. And that's why! What a shot from Don Barrett.
You can see the emotion on his face. Dom's he's reserved, but you can see if you look at his face and how happy he is with that. That's a little left off his hand. You'll see him go down. He's hoping it's going to hold pocket, and dead flush off his hand. It holds there, and he loves it. There's the fist pump. That's what we love to see out of the European captain.
Well, we talk about cometh the man, cometh the hour. Sorry, the other way round. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. And this is the hour for Parker Bohn.
Got to have it.
Absolutely. Strike for victory.
Strike, you get a point on the board. Anything less, and the Europeans take a 9-2 lead.
What a ball this is.
He knows how important this is, Wayne. You see, he wants to make sure he feels the hand is perfect. To dry the hand, you want to go through the checklist. He's done this thousands of times, thrown great shots like this. He's one of the greatest to ever play the game. I would anticipate Parker would make a good shot here.
It's almost worth 2 points. It's either 9-2 or 8-3.
Yeah, it's a huge swing. This is a huge, huge swing.
Got to be good.
It is good! And look at the reaction from Parker Bohn III.
There it is right there. That could be a game changer. That could be a little difference maker here. A lot of emotion from Parker. He's been around the block before. I told you I felt like he was going to throw a good one. You know, he's the captain of this team, and he's got to lead him. He's got to lead him back from a big deficit early. And
He
hats off to USA.
Levels up the session at 2-2, but overall it's 8-3 to Europe. More to come after the break.